Let's go.
Okay, see, check this out. Check this out. Cadillac, you asked me a question, the beef between the brand and the DC Blacks, and that so-called war and all that, and what part did Cadillac play in it, and his death and all that? Well, the truth of the matter is, Cadillac's death had nothing to do with that. That was before this DC stuff, the static that happened with the DCs. The DC stuff happened in the 1990s, and it was like 95, 96. The Lewisburg shit happened like in 97. Cadillac got killed in, Cadillac got killed in like 80, 81, 82, right in there. You know, you're talking about like a 15-year difference. Cadillac, listen, man, Cadillac got killed. And this, I'm going to tell you something, this is the truth. Just Cadillac was a friend of mine. I mean, I think I mentioned this one time before. One time I had some static with fucking rollers, you know, with cops. Even before my own people, Cadillac come to me and say, hey, John, he says, brother, were you ready to roll with them fucking Romans? He says, you got my hand. I mean, me and Cadillac were like that. When he used to make the booze, be running up and down the tier, dragging a big trash sack full of booze, passing out. I got the weed. I'm giving him weed. For my people, his people, everybody, man, we were like that. That's the truth. What happened with Cadillac is Steamboat Stewart got killed. Steamboat's a rapo.
Steamboat is a butthole bandit. He raped homies and everything.
And he was planning on trying to rape a couple of young white dudes. But don't judge a book by its cover. You're going to fuck up. And those two white kids, they killed them. They stabbed them to death.
Making a long story short, Steamboat started that, trying to take some butt stuff, and went after Clay Fountain. They tricked him and killed him.
And then Omar Chappelle, that was dealing with the Emmy, and he grabbed Keto Vargas out on the main line in the fucking Marion, had him jammed up on the wall. Some people wanted to get Omar right then. They put that on hold, and then Omar got caught up with somebody else. He fucked up a cop. I think he stabbed a cop or something out there, came down to the shoe, and then Omar had a tendency to slide into racial shit on the tiers, and other blacks told him, leave it alone. We ain't on that time up here. Everybody's cool.
He sells death to everybody. Him, John Greschner, used to sell death all day. You faggot man, you ain't do nothing to me. I ain't stealing. They put a cake in the oven, baking the cake for him. He said he got to go next. And I'm telling him, man, he got a vicious tongue, man. You know what I mean? He threatens him. I'll kill you crackers where I come from. They tricked him, and they killed him.
And so that was kind of a mix where some people were kind of, pissed at him anyhow because he's throwing racial slurs out, and you shouldn't do it. Nobody else is doing that. And also the word comes down about with the Emmy. So the Emmy contracts with the brand. Hey man, can you get this guy? So that's when some people went down to fucking Atlanta, chopped it up with some people down there. They said, yeah, that's good. They came back up. The move went down, and Tommy and Clay fucking choked out fucking Omar. I mean, Omar's talking shit to motherfuckers, and then he lays down with his head right at the bars. I mean, he has no situational awareness with him, and he gets choked out. So those two things had nothing to do with the DC blacks overall. These were distinct, individual, isolated instances. What happened with the DC, the thing with the DC blacks was this. Some young DC blacks and some young white dudes that were not affiliated with the AB or anything were at Leavenworth. They're beefing. They're little fist fights and shit. I don't even know what it all was, but it wasn't all that serious. They're just fist fights. It carries over to Marion. So one of the young white kids, they give these little Radio Shack, little cube radios, kit radios, in your cell along with your TV. Put a radio inside a pillowcase when they open up the door for rec, because only 9 were coming out at a time. You get 4 rec crews a day. The bottom tier, 9 and 9, because there's 18 cells. Top tier, 9 and 9. Well, one of them black dudes from Leavenworth was on his rec when he came out. He beat him over the head with the fucking radio. So that led to a thing where some of the DC blacks jumped on a couple of white dudes out in the yard, just fist fights, no knives or nothing. Then in D Block, the blacks, some DC blacks, gathered up some other blacks. And they said, well, fuck it, let's just jump on all the whites. What they did when they jumped on all the whites, they jumped on David Sahagian and Michael McElhaney, Big Mac. Now, they didn't hurt them because these guys can fight and they're big dudes. You know, they're 230, 240, 250, you know, good shape, big guys. They can fight. But they put their hands on brothers. And there's a law in the brand. Anybody puts their hands on a brother, even if it's another brother, and it ain't been authorized, you're getting whacked. Even a brother's going to get whacked. That's what kicked it off. Then, down at the ADX, in the motherfucking, in the shoe, you had that youngster T was getting played by a guy named Corey Fowler out of Miami and Tallahassee, playing him and getting him to go out in the middle of the street talking shit about, we'll just smoke all them crackers. I got 300 comrades up in motherfucking Lewisburg. I'm getting back there. We'll surround and smoke all these cracker motherfuckers about. And he's saying this shit right in front of the police. So I got blacks coming to me on the side down the shoe in the ADX saying, hey, John, they're trying to recruit us. We ain't with this shit. We're just talking straight up. We ain't trying to get caught up in this bullshit. Even after Lewisburg, I had Crips out of L.A. coming to me saying, hey, John, I know you guys had just cause for what you did. Just straight up. So what happened was the cops knew this guy was going around recruiting for us. So now they put hands on brothers in Marion. So what happens? They take these guys, teeing them from fucking the shoe, send them back to Lewisburg.
Inmate Brown is currently in ambulatory restraint during a lieutenant's check at approximately 8 o'clock. The inmate became disruptive and assaulted the lieutenant while he's doing a 2-hour check. Authorization for immediate 4-point restraints has been given by the warden. We will now currently place the inmate in 4-point restraints. Inmate Brown, do not resist my steps. You understand? A little bit of time. Secure him on the litter. Go ahead and turn the inmate's head towards the door. Walk forward, place him onto the litter. Okay, secure him on the litter with the straps. This time, team, move him to X block basement, cell 024. Inmate Brown, do not resist my staff as I escort you. Do you understand?
They go down to Marion, even though Lewisburg is supposed to be off limits to any active A, B, or ME. They get 5 motherfuckers that are either brand or affiliated with them and say, hey, you guys want to leave Marion, get out of here and not have go through step downs and all that, and the program and waste time will get you. They say, hell yeah, we're going to send you to Lewisburg. Bet, let's go. They sent them up to Lewisburg. So why would they do that? Why the fuck would they do that? Knowing what time it already was. They sent them up to Lewisburg, and even a fucking AW went to Wayne and told him, hey, man, we got all this information about the stat. And Wayne says, yeah, well, you just deal with this shit. That's how that is. And stepped. So what happened was it fucking cracked off up there. They killed 2 of them, stabbed up some more. But the question is this. This gets back to my original statement on the other shit. TD knew the hit and misses were no good. Because he's on the commission, Barry's on the commission, and at that time I was on the commission. And I told Barry and he told TD, hit and misses are no good unless you're going to encrypt them. And if you're going to encrypt them and they pull it up with fucking the different types of fucking radioactive fucking energy, electromagnetic energy, ultraviolets or whatever, they're going to see there's an encrypted message in there. So they aren't going to send it through anyhow. So if you're going to send an encrypted message, you're going to do it in a regular motherfucking what we call 007s. You're going to do it in a regular 007 with the bilateral or whatever encryption system. That way it looks like a regular letter. This is why when fucking Redwood, Big Al said he got the motherfucking letter from the switchboard out on the West Coast, and the switchboard told him, that's how I got it. Well, he couldn't pull it up, because it's got to go through the mail in Lewisburg, and they would see that the code had already been pulled up. So Redwood had to burn it and pull it up. And the switchboard told him, I don't know, that's the way I got it. You know, whatever it's saying. That's how I got it. So he pulled it up, and it said, "At war with DC, TD." Anybody could have wrote that. And you're in the highest facility joint in the country. They got special computer algorithms for us, tracking all our communications all over the goddamn world, all of that. And you think something that they already know, that a hit and miss ain't no good, and they can pull up, that they're going to let it just slide through, or they aren't going to check it because they photocopy all our letters. They got dossiers in the SIS offices on us. So you got the government moving motherfuckers from Marion to a joint they're not supposed to be in, where they'd already moved DC blacks that they know had been advocating for a war based on the shit earlier that had happened at Marion and all that. And then all of a sudden message goes through government hands, and they already know about this hit and miss shit, and it just slides through. They either let it pass or they did it. TD wouldn't do that. He knows how to do bilaterals and all that shit. That's why I've been saying all along, man, motherfuckers got played by the government. And that's what the DC war was about. And then they intercepted a kite from fucking, Doc Holliday, the BGF, from Marion. He's cool with us and the Emmy. He sends a wire up to motherfucking the ADX to a cat named Drac out of 415 out of the Bay, saying, listen, all motherfucking crews off the West Coast, it don't matter, north, south, east, west, what flavor you are, anything, are all coming together and uniting against the East Coast. And that was intercepted by the fucking SIS and the ADX, and they shit a brick. Because the last thing they want is all the crews on the West Coast uniting and going after the East Coast. That's the last thing they want. So that's what it was. Cadillac shit didn't have nothing to do with the fucking war. And what happened when he got down to, because I just seen Cadillac in I unit, him and some of his homeboys, and then some of the Emmy guys, Sapo and Gato and all them were there, and I had managed to slide in. I had some motherfucking little smoke, so I shot everybody. I was on D range, they were over on C range. I shot everybody in issue of smoke. Cadillacs, all right, John, good looking out, bro, blah, blah, blah. He's looking out for his homeboys and all that. And I'm looking out for the Emmy and all that, and everybody on the tier with me, I'm looking out for everybody. So he got down to the fucking shoe, and dudes on the side, some black dudes on the side, got in his ear and revved him up. Yeah, man, them fucking crackers are killing brothers down here. They're killing DCs. It had nothing to do with that. SteamBoat was planning on raping a couple of young white kids.
Making a long story short, home, SteamBoat started that, trying to take some butt stuff, and went after Clay family. They tricked him and killed him.
And he just misjudged. Don't read a book by its cover, fool. It's liable to kill you. It's real simple. And the thing with Omar was a whole different trip. Had nothing to do with DC, but they played it that way. And Cadillac was one of them guys that will get up and he'll get real vocal and start talking crazy, talking shit and all that. And that's what he started doing. He started disrespecting a lot of people, tried to stab Tommy through the bars the whole trip. And now it's on. And if I could have intervened in any way, I would have actually stopped that. But it went too far. There was nothing I could do, man. But Cadillac and SteamBoat shit and Omar shit had nothing to do with the DC, the static with the DC. What kicked that off is when they jumped on brothers in Marion in D unit. That's what the whole trip was there.
Okay, yeah.
And the government played it. The government played the whole fucking trip. Played everybody.
Yeah, okay, now I remember right. And I was thinking, like, I don't think Cadillac had anything to do. If anything, he might have been the... You appreciate you running that timeline down, man. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
It happened with him in like 1980 or 81, something like that, or 82. Sure. It was real early. And the shit with DC happened like 15 years later.
Yeah, 96, 95, 96.
The Lewisburg stuff and all that happened many, many years later, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even connected.
Okay.
So, that's what that was, man.
I appreciate you running it down for my boy, man. He's definitely going to appreciate this.
His
camera's up for
then
debate.
that goes to show you shit happens down in them slammers, down in them shoes.
Uh-huh.
That sensory deprivations, motherfuckers stressing out this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it just turns into things that in other cooler environments and when motherfuckers' heads are cooler and all that, it wouldn't have necessarily turned into something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what them slammers do too. They create killing bees. When if you were in other environments, it wouldn't even happen like that, man. You know what I mean?
I got you, brother.
So
yeah, my boy, he's up for debate TV. He's the one who got all the paperwork on Fly and Eon. So he's going to cover the DC Black War and all that. Because I'm not sure if Eon put shit out about it, but it's probably, if he did, it's probably lies. So.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't know. He's just somebody out there that's doing that stuff on the East Coast, and he's going to get his information, and he's going to get it from people that weren't necessarily there. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And don't really know what it is. And then I don't, be honest with you, I don't expect them to do anything but spin it in their favor. Even if they're telling straight up fucking lies, they're just going to spin it. There's some guys that know better, some black dudes out of DC that are good dudes. That I know that are good. Some of the older heads, these are good motherfuckers. And they would just call it how it is, and they weren't involved in none of this. They would have tried to squash it and everything else. These are good guys. And, and they're men. They ain't punks. They're men. They don't play the skin game. They don't play none of that.
Yeah.
They're solid. They ain't fucking informants. Ain't none of that. And they're good dudes, right?
Yep.
I go back almost 50 years with these guys.
Damn.
And these are good dudes, man. So, motherfuckers are going to get a microphone and get on this fucking podcast shit and just put all kinds of bunk out. But that's the real deal on that whole thing with the DC. It should have never happened. And some young kids that really didn't know any better cracked that shit off and then even went to some of their homeboys later when it started getting bad and said, hey, man, we need some help. And they told them, we aren't getting involved in that. You motherfuckers did that. You should have checked on it before you did that and before you started it with them dudes.
Yeah.
You should have run a make on that fucking crew before you crack something off of them because they will kill you. And they went to other guys like Malik, one of the head guys out of the El Rook and stuff out of Chicago, say, hey, man, we need help. They said, them fucking racist honky motherfuckers. And Malik told them straight up, those ain't racist honky motherfuckers. Those are friends of mine. These are good men. You are the racist motherfuckers, and you started something that you have, the road you're fixing to go down, you have no idea how bad this shit's going to get. You started with the wrong crew.
Yeah.
You should have never did that. And if you wouldn't have did that, none of this would have ever come to pass. None of it. Because it ain't like motherfuckers are just bored and they need to go out and kill somebody or something. It ain't like that, man. Static and killings is bad for business. It gets shit locked down, gets motherfuckers locked down, gets motherfuckers new cases, everything else, fucks up business, everything else. You try to keep shit smooth. You got to try to regulate them yards and keep shit fucking copacetic, Jack. If you don't, the shit goes sideways and turns into that, and people lose their lives. It's like Big Al said when him and Tweet killed the Muslim dude in Lewisburg. He said, man, I killed him quick. I knew I had to do it. Didn't want to do it. He said, this is a good guy. I like this guy. Now, I never knew that dude, but I've checked around on him. This was a good fucking guy. You got a good man killed behind your fucking bullshit. This ain't no joke. Good motherfuckers end up getting killed behind bullshit, man. It ain't supposed to happen like that.
Yeah, man.
So,
yeah.
That's why the motherfuckers that got the keys that's running shit, they're supposed to regulate them yards and send word out to them people, hey, man, keep your shit tight. Don't be starting no bullshit, man. You got to remember, like the brand has a saying, remember, you don't walk alone.
You have 1 minute left.
You don't walk alone. Where are you going? The whole crew's walking with you. So you got to walk right. And my hand is your hand. Your hand's my hand. So, you ain't going into this shit alone. You're going to drag motherfuckers into a war. So do not start wars. Do not create shit that doesn't have to be. It's real simple, man.
That's a good message, man. I'm going to end this one.